Hey guys, welcome back to Home Built, and this week, hopefully, we finish getting the windscreen in, and then I want to start tackling some of the fuse box and wiring. Alright guys, I lost the footage of me putting in the window again, but basically we used a string from the bottom and worked our way around, and it all worked perfectly except for the top edge, which just wouldn't quite go over the top of the lip. So we left it for a little while and came back, and this is where we were right now, just putting it back in, and you can just see there, crack. Damn it! So close! So close, we just had it in. This top corner was just not going in. We were almost there. Yeah. Basically, we just had it in, and I put just that little bit too much pressure in that corner, and I cracked the entire windscreen, and the whole thing is knackered. So, Anyway, I'm going to leave that for now and come back to it later because it's giving me the shits.
I need to get a cup of coffee.
Alright, that is really annoying, but the windscreen's cracked. There's nothing I can do about it now. A few tips that I learnt. Starting at the bottom and working your way around either side is definitely the way to go. A little bit each way at a time and work your way all the way around. Much easier. And afterwards, if you can actually use... Sorry, I have an assistant. You can actually use a piece of timber against the trim to sort of knock it into place if you're just a little bit short in some certain areas. Get off the car. I will work out what I'm going to do with that later. But for now, I think we'll move on to doing the fuse box. Alright, so the next task I'm going to tackle is tackling the old fuse box. And I've been talking to Johnny at classicretrofit.com for quite a while now about bits and pieces, and he's gone and he's actually sent me one of his replacement fuse panels. So this is a complete replacement fuse panel, straight fit, not complicated, quite an easy replacement for these old fuse panels. He also does them for the earlier models, but it takes out these old style fuses and replaces them with new blade type fuses, and they've also got LED indicators that will actually light up and show you when a fuse is blown, which I think is a great idea. And the other benefit is they've got upgraded relays for the headlights, etc. This thing looks super high quality. I'm really blown away by how good it looks. So I'll run through the replacement now, but yeah, this is going to just sit right there in place of what's already there. Alright, so initial prep I've gone through and I've loosened off the main screws holding in the old fuse panels, but I've just cracked them. I've also cracked all the screws holding in the lower and upper wires, but I haven't actually removed them yet. And now I've loosely cable tied the new fuse panel in front of the old one, and now it's just a matter of going along and taking one out, putting it in, screw it up. One out, in, up, and go all the way along. Another thing I've also done is I've gone through and I've placed in all the corresponding new fuses into the fuse panel so that I've got the right amperage, at least matching what was there, particularly on my car, because I don't know what worked, what didn't work. There's fuses missing, there's all sorts of stuff. That's my next job, is to go through and check everything and see what works and what doesn't. And for now, let's go through and start rewiring in the new panel. Alright, well that was pretty straightforward, just taking my time and going one fuse at a time. The only issues I've found is that my car has been messed with so much that I don't know how much of it is correct. As I said, there's some places which have wires and no fuses, some places have fuses and no wires in the original. So I'm copying that for now, and then I'm going to have to go through and sort it out later. But as far as fitting the new fuse panel, really straightforward and easy to do. I've connected up the lower row now completely. So now I need to get rid of these two cable ties I use just to hold the panel in place. and move this out of the way, and then remove these screws and keep hold of these because you need them again to mount the this panel in place. Alright, that's an instance where you've got to be really careful and take your time. Some of these have 2 wires going into each terminal, so you've got to make sure you get it all right, be diligent. Alright, now my wiring's done. There's a very important step, is I've got to fit the gasket behind the fuse panel because the terminals are bare on the back of the fuse panel, so if you don't fit this supplied gasket, it can all short out against the body and nothing's going to work properly. And it also comes with a bunch of these little tiny plastic spacers, whatever they are, that need to go in between. So I just sort of work out which way up this goes. It goes this way. Suggestion was you could use a bit of grease to keep the spacers in. All these installation instructions are all on Classic Retrofit's website, so you can just go on there and have a look, and it'll give you all the tips to fit it back up again. But for me, I'm almost done. Alright, and that is all fitted up, and I'll tell you what, it looks a hell of a lot neater than the old one. It's very clear and easy to read which fuse is which. And of course we've got the simple to pull in and out blade type fuses now. Make the whole thing much easier to get the fuses instead of having that mess that somebody put in there earlier. As part of the kit, you also get a secondary fuse panel for in the rear in the engine bay. I don't have an engine in at the moment, so this can go in later, but as far as the quality and everything goes of this so far, I'm pretty impressed. I think it's definitely tidied things up and it'll make things a hell of a lot easier to sort out. All right, moving on. All right, so with the fuse box fitted, the next step is to go through and fit the batteries. I bought myself a new battery, and I've never had this car actually with a battery fitted, so I have no idea if anything works or if nothing works or whatever. So first things first is I'm going to go through and clean up all these terminals to make sure I get a nice good clean earth and power connection, because from experience I know that just dodgy terminals can create way more problems than you ever thought would be possible. So clean these up, connect this up, and then we'll see what we've got. Alright, so now I'm going to go through and start checking the wiring. So what I've done is I've gone through, and I'm not exactly sure which wire is supposed to line up with which bit, but I've taken out a headlight and connected it up here, and now I'm going to connect the battery up and see if this headlight works. So fingers crossed. I have no idea what's going to work and what's not. Seats are nice and handy though. Alright, so at least I've got headlights and front indicators to work. For some reason I can get one park light working, the other one, when I connect it up, it just stays on the whole time. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I never ever use park lights on any of my cars, so I'm not overly concerned, but I do need to connect it up. That's something I can sort out later, so let's see what else is next. Alright, so I've got my headlights working, but one of the issues that was brought up to me when I first did the headlight install was that the LED globes that I have, these get really hot apparently. I'm not sure what I'm going to do at this stage, so I'm just going to drill a basic hole through the back and I can sort out exactly how I'm going to mount them at a later stage. I think I'll still change the headlight globes over, and then when I do that I'll mount it in permanently. But for now, let's get the holes drilled. right, next thing I'm going to tackle is refitting the horn. Now, this had 2 horns in it, and I just assumed they were factory, but looking at the side of them, it says Delco Remy USA, so maybe this was a US requirement to put these horns in, but I could be wrong. I literally have no idea, so let's check and make sure they work, and then reinstall them. I was not doing anything. There we go. That'll do. 1 working horn, that's all I need. Alright, so headlights and indicators in the front are in, they're working. But for now, I've got these wires that were sitting here in the fruit that I'm not sure what they are, but I am hoping that these are the windscreen washer reservoir. So what I'm going to try is, I've got a test light here, so I'm going to set the test light up and then activate it in the cabin and see if it actually works. Ah, perfect. Alright, that's a win. So now at least I know that these random wires that are in the fruit do go to the windscreen washer. I'm going to put a bit of heat shrink on them and connect them up down here, put a rubber bung in the engine bay, and then we'll have a new connection. Woohoo! Alright, so before I put the taillights in, I need to go through and reinstall this rear wiring loop. I didn't actually mark which wire went where when I pulled this all apart, so I'm going to use my test light and see if I can work out what is what and what works and what doesn't work. This lead here is an indicator lead, but the main reason it's not working is because it has a really poor ground. This ground is not is no good. I've roughly worked out which wire is which. The issue I now have is that it seems for some reason that the earth on both is shorting out somehow. I'm not sure exactly how to sort that out. I might have to do a bit more research. The other option is to just run a new earth. It just means it's a bit messier, and I don't like messy. I want it to be neat. As you can see down here, I set the tailgate on again, and I put the new chrome taillight surrounds on, and I think it looks, it's going to look very nice. Hey guys, and we're back with another episode of Mail Time. This time I have a package from the UK, Royal Mail. It's from Tweaked Automotive. Dear Jeff, great fans of your Porsche build, waiting in anticipation for the engine to come back. Please find some included stickers and a billet keyring from all the family at Tweaked. And it looks like these guys do some pretty full-on Land Rover builds. And they sent me this very cool keyring. I think that's going to replace Mrs. Jeff's Daggy Frangipani keyring. I think that's much better. As always, you can send the mail straight through to Home Built by Jeff, PO Box 1520, Bowral, New South Wales 2576, Australia. Alright guys.
Hi guys, this week we continue with the Porsche race cars. The 934 was built in 76 and 77 with around 400 produced. It was based on the then new 911 Turbo, but with 480 horsepower, which went up to 550 horsepower in 77. It weighed in at 1,090 kilos in regular trim, which included electric windows. Surprisingly, in race trim, it actually added 30 kilos in order to comply with Group 4 requirements.
Alright guys, we have headlights and indicators. I have to still sort out the ones on the back. There's some funky wiring going on there, and I don't know what's going on. So it's just so time consuming, like every single little thing I'm doing every week these days, trying to sort through problems. But at least we have working headlights. We have working indicators, we have a new fuse panel in, we have a cracked windscreen, which is maybe not the greatest thing. I still have to work out what I'm going to do with that, but it's staying there for now, and I'm going to move on to other things because I've had enough.
It's a stressful time.
Alright, that's it for another week. As always, please like and subscribe to my channel, Home Built by Jeff, and you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at the same place. See you guys.
You can have my hands coming out. That'll be funny. Let's do that. You can.
You're a freak. All right.